making your way in the world today. You really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew ha ha. Cold Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode? All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast Presents and Cold Street Brewery Presents BrewHaha with Sean McDonald, Cold Street Brewery, Enumclaw, Washington, 1627 Cold Street, Enumclaw, Washington. Come on down, tag yourself in, or wear your Full Buddy hoodie or merch, even T-shirts at this time of year. T-shirts, thankfully, we're back. Get 15% off your order. We got Sean McDonald, owner, operator, brewer, master chef on the mic.
I don't know about master chef, but I like to cook a little bit, yeah.
What do you cook this time of year usually? Are you barbecuing, or what do you like to do?
Yeah, I love fresh things, so I'm always grabbing something fresh. I mean, coming out of the garden right now, the peas, snap peas, I'm doing a lot of, stir fry for that.
Really?
Then I got some corn. It wasn't from around here, but was fresh corn, and I did that a couple ways. I did like corn pancakes. That was pretty good. And then I did just a spicy on the cob
corn pancakes. What's
super easy? Just some cornmeal. So you take the corn and just kind of fillet it off the cob, and then mix it in with some cornmeal, and then one egg, and then kind of fry it up in the pan, just like you're frying eggs. Kind of just
really
comes together. It's
now.
good.
You just, and I interrupted because you said something about spicy.
Yeah, then I did like corn on the cob, but then I did kind of a spicy rub on it.
Wow.
And then threw it on the barbecue, so then it's kind of a little smoky but spicy. Yeah.
So when you're,
I'm thinking with corn.
I feel like we've never gone down this road, so I'm gonna get into this a little bit. I know you're gonna take a sip. We're gonna get to there in a second, but you seem like the type of person, being a business owner. So you have to manage your time well. You have to almost mix things together time-wise.
Always.
Being a brewer, you got to know how to mix the ingredients together so they taste well.
Yeah.
And
it's all about balance. Yep.
And then when it comes to food, you got to...
Same thing.
Yeah.
Nice balance and spice, sweetness. Yeah.
So do you feel like your brain is just always trying to mix everything to the best possible formula in a sense?
Definitely. I take good notes. I love to cook. It's just a matter of finding the time for it. Kind of right now, I've got this nice little schedule where I kind of go down to the brewery, work at the brewery in the morning, get there at 6, and then I, take off, get home at noon or 1, and then I kind of make my early dinner, and then I'm back down to the courier for open at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then
yeah,
good for the rest of the night. Yeah.
Cool. Well, right on. I like that. I always like learning about you, learning things. When you see someone who is successful, you kind of want to learn from that person too, because they've got something that's working well for them. Obviously, hard work's thrown in there, and being punctual and being there. But when it comes,
and a lot of just good luck, kind of just everything fits in sometimes.
All right, so let's do the beer of the week. What are we drinking right now?
So this is the new IPA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it.
The new IPA.
New IPA. So I was able to get my hands on some Amarillo hops, which I don't use all that often. So this has the Centennial and the Columbus that I use pretty often. But I mixed in the Amarillo. Everybody thinks of the Amarillo Morning by George Strait.
Yeah, I think of that. Yeah, exactly.
And basically it's part of Texas, and
okay.
The Amarillo. What is that? The thing with the shell on its back where it wanders around?
Armadillo.
There you go. Yeah.
The Amarillo Armadillo.
But yeah, it gives a little more piney taste to it. So it's it's good for this time of year, I think.
Yeah.
It goes with the heat pretty well. It also it goes with heat, so spicy food or barbecue food.
Oh, okay.
That's the other thing
I like
I'm putting it out right now.
And what's the ABV and all that fun stuff? Do we know?
Oh, yeah, this is right at 7 as well.
Okay.
All my IPAs are right around 7. I think this is a little bit higher. This is 7.2, but it's still right in that realm. Then IBUs, it's actually pretty high. So it's almost 69 I normally try and stay closer to like 60.
And have you brewed an Amarillo
Nope.
brew before? No, did you
Nope.
learn anything on this? Did you do a taste, or did you do a test
Well,
one the first time?
I did. I learned what it tastes like now. I mean, I've had other beers with it. Yeah, I've had other beers. The one that really comes to my mind is the Lucille from Georgetown. They use Amarillo on that as well.
Nice.
But yeah.
All right. Well, it's delicious. You can find it on tap. Is it a what do we call that? Special edition? Is it going to sit there for a little bit?
It's a fairly small batch. It was only a 4-barrel batch because I didn't get a whole lot of it. But that should last, a month maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. This time of year we move beer pretty fast.
Yeah.
So we'll say half a month. We'll say 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, this, like you said, this type of month is fast as heck. I mean, we're already
big events,
end of July, and there's it's just like one after another. I feel like as soon as you got Memorial Day hits, and then
it just starts,
and then it goes to Father's Day, and then it graduations, and then it's 4th of July, and then you got the cruise thrown in there, like a lot of stuff downtown.
So actually, we'll kind of get into like our next stage is talking about the holiday that just came up. This last week, I had one of the busiest weeks I've had in a long time. So I set up this private event. Some people heard about it, but I kept it pretty private.
Right.
At my brewery on Thursday night. And I sent you pictures of it, just joking about it.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of pictures, but there's some floating around.
Yeah.
So I'll just so across the street from my original place is a retirement home, assisted living home, and they're trying to do other stuff for their residents that they haven't done in the past. They're kind of opening it up and getting new ideas, and because the biggest thing is they sent out a questionnaire like, what are some things that you've never done in your life? And the ladies kind of brought back, they're like, well, I've never gone to a strip club, I've never danced with a stripper, kind of. So we set up a burlesque show, not a stripper show, but
and
a burlesque
you were the main
show.
attraction?
No, I was not. No, we hired out some guys. They're really great guys, very professional.
I heard. I read the article.
Super easy. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't read their article yet. So, but yeah, Ray and Alex from the Courier Herald were there taking pictures and checking it out. It went so well, and it's just one of those kind of amazing moments. You see the smiles on their face, and you hear the laughter, and you're just like, it's a lot of fun.
There was a lady who was like 100 and something, 106.
Yeah,
man, she's
still trucking.
Get carried around by a guy out there.
Yeah. Helped her on the stage so she could be up on the stage. Yeah.
That's way cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work to set up because we set up a stage and we set up lights and all kinds of decorations and stuff. And
now, have you been to a male dance thing before?
I have not. No.
We don't have to go super detail, but were you surprised by any of it?
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't really in that room.
Oh, okay.
I set it up. I set up the room and I helped the guys and we moved all their stuff and set it all up. That was the other thing is like, these ladies, they came from a different era. And that's why they haven't gone to a strip club. So it was ladies only in that room so that they
make
could
it
feel
a little more
comfortable for them.
Yeah,
they weren't embarrassed that there was a male there.
Yeah.
Other than the dancers, of course.
Right.
So that's why. Yeah.
Was that a lot of work for you? Was there a lot of setup and tear
There was a
down
lot of setup, but that's what, the guys are great because they've done this. They do this road show all the time, and they're good at popping into a brand new place and just setting everything up. But It was a lot of work for that.
Did you hear anything, like any of the ladies that may have had a couple of your brews that hadn't had a brew before? Were they like, "Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah,
I like
they were
this,"
super surprised. That's always, especially from the ladies. They're like, "Oh, I don't really drink beer," and then they try some of my quote unquote camouflage beer, like my mango peach and my strawberry blonde. Those beers that are kind of sweet and kind of don't taste like beer, and they're really amazed and really loved it.
Nice.
So I got through that, and then the very next day was the first Friday of the month, which is the cruise, and it's the first cruise that we've had in quite a while, and it was a big turnout. It was a really big turnout. I got some new staff members, so it was like their first experience on a really busy day where there's a pretty constant line, like just endless. It's like you don't see the back of the building for 3 hours straight.
I walked in there You may have saw me walk in. I was kind of on a tight timeline, but it didn't seem like anyone was. It was, even though lines can be long, it doesn't mean you're in a line long, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my lines move pretty fast.
They do. It's
you can get your beer in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see that and go, whoa, this is, you want to turn around, just hang out for a little bit, check in on Facebook, get that 15% off, tag yourself, go hashtag Full Buddy Friday, or not Full Buddy Friday, but Full Buddy Cast, and then you get the 15% off. Show the show the beer. What do you call them? Beer tenders? What do you call them?
Beer tenders.
Beer tenders. Yep. And then they'll give you that discount, but it doesn't take that long. Like, no. I was ready.
Most of the time, on average, it's like 2.5 minutes, I think. But
yeah, it's not too bad.
No more than 5.
Right. Yeah. And then but also think of, paying it forward. I'm sure that you guys do that. But one thing to pay it forward for the people behind you, know what you're going to drink. Yeah. Like when you walk, it's like you've had like 5 minutes to stare at this menu, and then you get up there. I have
extra signs, and I hand out menus to try and help people so they can read it while they're standing in line to try and speed that process up too. But that being said, I do have some unique stuff. So when there's brand new people in there, they do want to sample and try stuff, and we help that out. We of course still do that. We just try and speed it up a little bit.
And how'd the beer garden work out with the cruise? And how does that work? Can they still order from the table? Do you have that option?
Yeah, so I have a QR code that you can use at your table, and then so during busy nights like the cruise, you order that, and then we sit it on the sidebar, and you come and get it. But then 2 days later, we had the parade, the 4th of July parade, and my beer garden was set up for that. We used the QR codes for that. But then in that case, I can actually deliver it to you because majority of the people are standing and hanging out there. There isn't as much of a push inside with a big line and that sort of thing. So then you just take the QR code, you set everything up. It's super convenient for us too because it prints out on a printer, so we know what gets ordered. So you can look at, physically look at the list and then pick it. We know what to pour. It takes your credit card, and then you pay everything on your phone. So you can leave at any time, walk away. It doesn't matter. You don't have to come. You have
to wait in line to close out.
You don't have to get your card back from us. We don't have to hold your card. None of that because it's all
already there.
Yeah,
cool. And then, so anything more on the cruise or upcoming cruises that you might be doing differently, or you liked how it went? Or
I'm gonna use the QR codes a lot more. For this upcoming cruise. It's still breaking that in, getting people used to it. So if you have used it in the past, it's so much easier because it's already, you can find the app on your phone and then just pick it up and order, and then just come in and pick it up, So I think that's going to really take off, and that'll make much easier for both sides. You can get your beer faster. I can pour beers super fast. It's all about the decision, which beer do you want? That's what slows up the most.
Nice. And then with the 4th of July parade, how I stayed, because I'm on the other side and I had my kids, so I stayed on the other side. I didn't even go down to your area. How was that? Was it pretty jam packed? Would you open like at 10 a.m. or 11, or what'd you end up doing?
I was there at 10 with the door unlocked, but basically around 11 is when we started picking up and people started putting out their stuff. We set out, obviously chairs and stuff. We're in the parking spaces, not in the road like we are on the weekends. So it is a little narrower, but it was good. There's still plenty of room. We had open seats in there still.
Nice.
And still plenty of room. Yeah, plenty of people too.
The thing that I also noticed: do you have AC, or does your place stay cool? I feel like it doesn't get that hot in there.
It doesn't get that hot, but we do have AC as well. So
one thing that I noticed, because I did go down there on the cruise, a lot of people outside, but there's plenty of
places to sit inside and still see cars go by and sit on the bench or sit on
big
the
windows,
table. Yeah. So if you're you're like hot
just go in there and they got QR codes on those tables as well.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Makes everything way easy.
4th of July parade. I was going to ask you this. You don't, a lot of people, a lot of places do put themselves in there as, as like a float or anything like that. But not too, like maybe the karate place,
Taekwondo.
Yeah. They'll break boards and stuff like that.
Sure.
Have you been in the past years in the 4th of July parade?
I have customers, or I have my VIPs. They bring it up every year.
Yeah.
After the parade. Oh, next year or next parade, you should. And I I don't have the time for it, and I've
Right.
always said I'm more than happy. But the next thing they say is, well, we'll just put a keg on there, and then we'll just drink. And you can't do any of that, so that kind of dims it down a little bit. And especially, you could do that sort of thing, but if you're sitting on a float that is representing a bar, I feel like people are going to be looking at you a little bit closer.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
So I'm totally open to supporting that, but I just don't do it. I don't have the time.
I could just see it just like decked out as like Uncle Sam.
Maybe someday when I retire,
So speaking of that, I think we have more events coming up this summer. I know that we usually have the Rotary Street Fair, and does that? How do you work around that? Because I know that can go on like during the day, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or
it is. It's they set up on Thursday and then it's Friday. It's Friday and Saturday. It's not Sunday, but then there's Sundays on Cole right after that. It is a huge impact. I mean, it's a big event where there's an awful lot of stuff. They have their own beer garden that's on the Stevenson side of Cole Street, so it's on the opposite side. And then I still have my beer garden set up, so you can go around, shop a little bit, and then take a break and grab a beer.
And usually in the past, I want to say semi near the 1627 location there. Yeah, the what I should say is the Courier area.
Mm-hmm.
They had I want to say they had the cars there last year, possibly, or maybe it was the guy who like saws up the logs.
The ice, he did. Dave Hauge did an ice sculpting.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
shaving thing. Yeah.
So, do you know ahead of time what, or does anyone say, "Hey, I think I'm more your clientele"? And
I normally know the week of, because then I get kind of notice of what's going to be by me, that sort of thing. But right now, I don't sit on that committee or do anything with that, so I don't know exactly. I was trying to look on my phone. I don't remember exactly which weekend it is, but it is coming up.
Yeah, I want to say it's the weekend after the 4th of July. So I think it's the last weekend. So I think the 4th of July is the third weekend of every or not 4th. What am I saying? The King County Fair is the third weekend. And by the way, when this is getting released, this was right after the King County Fair. So listen to that last episode if you want.
Yeah.
But then I think this upcoming weekend would be the Rotary
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. I'm not sure they normally have that 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Oh, that's right.
They have a bunch of kid bouncy house sort of things and a bunch of stuff for pretty much everybody to do. It's a big thing. Parking is always kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Park way far away. Park at Mo Building, Mutual Uniclaw.
Please do. And then I'll charge at my house too. There's 2 spots that you can park there. $25,000 a spot, but hey, I will carry you on my back down there.
Yeah,
for
you should totally get a rickshaw. That'd be a good workout program too. Take him down the hill, and then you got to bring him back up the hill. Yeah.
Anything to add with Sundays on Cole? I know you mentioned that.
Yeah, Sundays on Cole it has kicked off. So it's every Sunday. We have live music both on Saturday and Sundays. I've also set up kind of a fund. I think we touched on this last episode. I've set up a fund right on the outside of my door at the Courier Herald building. There's 2 QR codes that you can click on your phone. One is if you want to donate to getting live music. Live music's become really expensive, so donating to that is always helpful. But more importantly, we've had all those chairs and all those fire tables since 2020, and they're really breaking down and falling apart. And so we need to create some fundage to get more of those chairs that are just public chairs. So when you come down, you're hanging out, listening to music, there's places for you to sit comfortably. And then replacing those fire tables, because coming in the wintertime, you can go out there and do that. On the live music side, that also goes to supporting the snow on Cole Street.
Mm-hmm.
During Christmas time, we snow every Friday night. It goes to small events like that. That's where those funds go. So I highly encourage to donate to that. If you enjoy what you're doing, just throw a couple bucks into the pot.
Yeah.
All it helps.
Yeah, that's good. And then you touched on something. Oh yeah, the bands that have been playing on Saturday nights, and you guys have a few Fridays lined up. Or
Fridays are like a rotate. Like if it gets rained out on Saturday, that band will be back on the following Friday. But then Friday is also kind of like an open mic, sort of like if there's any bands that just want to show up and play. It is better if you contact me ahead of time to make sure that we aren't already scheduled somebody. But that's also kind of like an open. Because when we first set this up, we were just going through a list of bands that we've had for the last couple of years. And every year there's new bands that start. So there's all these new people contacting us. So that's also where Fridays come in play, where we start, the new bands that are just now contacting us. We'll put them on Fridays.
Nice. All right. And then so we got some coming up Saturday. Now we've had some rainouts on May. Are they getting rebooked? I know that you said that they can't do it. So the following Friday, but are we extending the season a little bit?
Yeah.
Or
we plan to have, for sure, through September. In September, there's also going to be music in the park at the park that's by the hotel.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
They got that little gazebo.
Mm-hmm. But that's going to be on Thursday nights, starting in September. And so the music on Cole Street is going to go through at least September and will, depending on the weather, probably through most of October as well.
Nice. And then finally, I know we're doing a bunch of conversation, but we have to catch up, right? We have to catch up with the events. You're a busy guy. There's always conversation about, hey, when do you start up trivia again? Are you doing trivia this week? When's that? Where's that? How do I do that?
Yeah, so I just hired on. Doing trivia for me has just always been so much work because I put the questions together. It's like really time consuming doing that, and I have a whole bunch of them now that I could repeat, but then it always sucks when there's people that show up that have already been there, and then they can kind of do well on that. So instead, I've signed up with a company that has like a little digital screen, like when you go to the Buffalo Wild Wings, those sort of kiosk things that sit on the table. It's basically that same setup. So we're gonna do trivia again, but we can do trivia up to 3 times a week. And then on top of that, there's some other games that we can put on there. We can have like poker nights and that sort of thing through that digital thing.
Poker nights, huh?
Thinking that's more probably
I like that.
fall, winter sort of thing.
Yeah, keep it inside and then you're able to
So
nice.
I'm going to start incorporating that a little bit more. So watch the Facebook. We're going to start advertising for trivia nights and have prizes for it. Because we can do all the same things we did before, but it's kind of convenient using this company. So even if only 5 people show up for trivia, it's a nationwide thing.
Yeah.
So then
they earn points and
there's still a large group that you're competing against. You're not only competing against these 5 people in the place.
That's great. That's way cool. Oh, I wanted to ask this. I don't think we've touched on this. Do you allow food? Like, like where people can go watch the cruise or whatever, they can sit in the beer garden, even if it's not the cruise. It's Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, you can bring in whatever food you'd like.
Okay.
You can bring home food from home if you'd like, or you can order pizza, or you can order from the restaurants around us, or just bring in whatever food.
Okay, so and then
open.
Is that the same thing that goes for inside your okay.
Inside, outside doesn't
matter.
So
you have no restriction on food, so people can go bring,
order,
all that. Cool. All right. Well, right on. I think that it might be what me and Jamie may do. I know that we did I really want to ask this. And we can kind of switch gears. We don't have to talk about like upcoming stuff, but 2 summers ago, it was you running around everywhere, trying to keep money coming into your place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping
my doors open.
Keeping the doors open. So you partnered with some of the restaurants that were nearby that people could order, and you'd go grab it, and very free-flowing type of a thing.
I still have a short menu with stuff from some of the restaurants.
Okay, cool. That was the one thing. People also, and we've talked about this on previous ones, but if this is something that this would be the first time you're listening, you've been down there before in the past in the summer with the roads shut down, it was a little lenient. It was never encouraged, but people were, maybe taking their drink and kind of walking away from the beer designated area. And at the time, half the town is locked up doing they don't want to go out, and the other half is like living free in a sense. And so we've talked about in this past, they've kind of like the liquor board and the city
Yep.
they want to shut that down.
Yep.
So
you can only drink within the beer gardens. You can only drink at my place behind the yellow chains.
yeah,
On the weekends, the Mint is pulling out a little beer garden of their own. Same thing. So you can only drink within that area. You can't wander up and down the streets with an open container. That's still really tough in the state of Washington to get those rules changed.
and then
Not Vegas.
Yeah, definitely not Vegas. That's why I go to Vegas. Did you have anyone so far get warned? Have you been warned? You don't have to mention restaurant names or even establishment names, but are there? I know the liquor board's been visiting, obviously, and I'm sure Enumclaw's on their radar because of the past 2 years a little bit.
Yeah, we've actually had our name mentioned in the Seattle Times like 3 times
about just being just the wild west out here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes, liquor control will stop by and talk to us and discuss different methods to try and stop that, and it's working. There's still people that kind of wander off from my place, and I just wander up to them and say, hey, you can't really do this, and it's all like, oh, we didn't know.
Yeah.
It's like I have lots of signage and
everywhere,
and my beer tenders tell you when
you're walking out the door. There's a sign, but if you're not focused, you're just focused.
Yeah. So we just try and cut down on it. And so if you do see, I throw that out to our listeners too. If you do see somebody,
say something.
Yeah, just mention it. Like, hey, it is illegal to have an open container, and they are really cracking down on it. So I don't want you to get it ticketed. So you should move into one of these beer gardens that are very accessible right there. I am a 21 and up establishment, including my beer garden. But especially on the weekends when the street is closed, what we do is we have table set up right by the fence and then a table outside the fence, so your children can be on one side of the fence while you're on the other side of the fence. That's how we kind of manage that, so you can still drink around your children, just not
directly
with them
there. And then so we've kind of updated that a little bit. They're still outdoors, things are still shut down on the street anyways, on Saturdays
from Friday at 2 p.m. until Sunday at 7 p.m.
unless it's a cruise.
Yep.
But then right after the cruise, it's usually
at
shut down.
8 p.m. we shut it down. Yep.
And then you can come on down and hang out. Lots of people. Here's the thing. I'm going to kind of move away again. I want to talk about this. My parents went down to Cole Street yesterday after the parade. Now, I've gotten them gift cards before and stuff like that. Bought my dad a shirt, try to encourage them. They were out in Ravensdale. So when they come down to town, it's like sometimes like the Little House on the Prairie. They'll do that day they go to town, they'll go shopping, and then they'll go, so especially with gas prices right now, you don't want to make multiple trips. But anyway, they went down, they had a nice visit. My mom actually had sent me the text this morning and said, after we left your house yesterday, we went to Cole Street Brewery and had a beer at a table in the street. Met Chris, Becca, and her mother, Debbie. Had an extended conversation with Debbie. It was a perfect summer day with a smiley face.
Oh, nice.
So that made my mom's day.
Beautiful.
And she's actually kind of an introvert. Believe it or not, she is. I'm the extrovert. She's the introvert. So for her to go and enjoy people and company, not saying she doesn't enjoy people, but just to go have conversations and that down home feeling. What is your motto?
It's where strangers become friends and realize that they're neighbors.
Yes, I like that. Kind of changes every time, but that's okay. We like it. We'll keep it. Let me know if I can't say those names. I don't know if those are names I can't say. If you know them, okay.
Yeah. Becca's my new beer tender. We might get her on here at some point.
Oh, excellent. Okay, cool.
And Chris, of course, has been with me forever.
Yes.
Might kick into this. We do want to. I want to put out some love to Chris right now because his father did just pass away last week. So his memorial will be probably past when this comes out. It's on like the 16th. Otto Struley passed away.
Yeah, and Chris is a great guy. Give him some love if and when you see him around town or Cole Street as well. He's a great dude. He's a down to earth dude. When I met him, I think we've had him on. Go type in his name and you can pop up on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You'll see it there and listen to those. But
he sat in on a couple too.
Yeah,
in the background and laughed.
Yeah, he's a good fun guy. I met him not at Cole Street for the first time. I met him, where he sold me a car. Actually, I think 2 cars. And then eventually, lo and behold, now we're down at Cole Street, and I see
selling
him.
beer.
He's selling beer.
Not that much different. Car, beer.
I want to do a business conversation because I had a Dad How Do I. I don't know if it's come out yet. I recorded a few. Dad How Do I. He's my uncle. 4 million subscribers on YouTube. So we were talking about tipping and how tipping cash, is always nice because they can use the funds right away, whoever you're tipping. And I kind of want to ask you as a small business owner, right? Because it's a little different. You go to the grocery store, who cares? You use your card, use your check, use your cash, whatever. But you go to a small business, is it better for the business to receive cash? Is it because they have their funds right away? Or if somebody uses a card, are there processing fees? What does it look like for you? When do you actually see that money? Does it take a week?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so when you use your card, there's all kinds of different levels on that. There is a processing fee and there is a holdover fee. So whatever I make, like say tonight, I only get half of it tonight, and then I get the other half tomorrow. But I get half of tomorrow night's fundage tomorrow night. So it's like you get a whole amount every day, but it's half from last night, so it depends on the day of the week how much that is. And then when it's a holiday weekend, it's it's really delayed. It could be 3 days before I get it, depending on where the holiday falls. And so with cash is always king. Cash is so much easier to deal with because, there isn't that different. Also, when you're talking credit cards, there's all kinds of different levels of credit cards. Everybody has these reward type cards. Each reward card has a different charge to it. So I don't know how much those service charges are. So I do have, and that's where if you come in and you buy a beer, if you use your card, I want to say you're paying like $7.10 versus if you give me cash, I give you, I take it as $7 and give you change back. So it is a little bit cheaper for you as well. But that's part of the reason I have that extra surcharge on there is because each card can be so different on how much I get charged on my side. And it's all about how many swipes too. So there are different levels that you can sign up for. And once you go over that level, then you're in the next stage and you pay more. So there's a whole bunch of different charges. So yes, cash is always best. On the tipping side, it's even better on the tipping side because it doesn't get taxed.
Sure,
that's a good thing to say, but
it's readily available. Like you're able to, with your servers, you're able to pay out their tips now. And I don't understand all that. Do you get a report? Like, let's say that people use their card and they tip, let's just say 20%, and then do you get two breakdowns that is like, here is just what was paid, and then here was tips? Like, how do you determine what was tipped and what was, when you get all that money halfway the first day or halfway the second day?
I have a report that breaks down everything. I have reports that break down how many mango peach I sold today.
Oh, wow.
I break everything down. And that's also like inventory and knowing when I need to brew beer. So you can see, and it's a nice thing having this. I've had Square for the whole 9 years that I've been in business. So it's really nice to be able to see trends, different months, and you can see when things sell in different ways. Very convenient. And yeah, with breaking down for separating for employees, each one has their own like login number. And so then every time you tip that person, it's going to that person. So.
I know that was a question when we were talking with Sasha Lynn, Patreon. We went and visited her at Edison City Ale House in Tacoma. She said that I think they had just got Square possibly. And then I remember you were kind of helping her through some of the things.
Square hands down is one of the best POS. I've had several companies sit down with me and discuss, but I can't get off of Square. They do so many things. You can upgrade to add so many things. You can add payroll to it. You can add accounting where it has actual accounting software that will drop it into whatever different QuickBooks sort of things you need to break down your stuff in and how you pay your taxes and all that sort of thing. Square is great. And they're super easy to communicate with too. I just had a Square agent just called me. I set up these QR codes, another thing that Square does. And she contacted me saying, yeah, I saw that you set this up, but did you realize that if you click this button, it'll open, gave me more information that I, like mind blown. Like, oh shoot, I can just copy and, oh, that's so much easier. Thank you. So yeah, Great company.
When it comes to QR codes, could you assign, like, let's say you have a regular or maybe a VIP, could they get their own QR code? And then you would just always have their stuff on file, and they don't even have to like go get a table or go.
I could. There is a feature where you can save credit cards on there and then just build that credit card. I tend to not do that because I just have the fear of if I was to get hacked or something, then it would be a very easy place to get a lot of information and use it. And I don't want to be the place that has that. Yeah. You know. And
then you got the Courier Herald sitting next to you, sharing a wall with you, and they're writing bad reviews about you. And this is what happened. They got to sell the newspapers. That's the thing.
Yeah. Got to stir the pot. Now, are they still doing the whole come down and first Wednesday of every month? First Wednesday of every month at 6:00. Meet the editor. We've had some good turnouts and some slow turnouts.
Yeah.
I do highly recommend, it's still kind of an older crowd that's coming to that. It would be great to get a mix of some of the younger.
Well, they need to do something. Maybe a coloring contest if they want younger kids.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they do, don't they?
No, I mean like for that day.
Oh, for that.
They can turn that in. How young are you going?
Oh, I was not thinking that young.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But still, high school opinions are just as fun.
They should, and they should also, and this is their, I'm not giving you the $1 million idea. I'm giving them the $1 million idea. They need to do something where get featured in the freaking newspaper, and if you come to one of these things.
Yeah.
Get your picture taken. Be on the front page.
Who doesn't want to be in the newspaper?
I don't.
Yeah, right.
I'm kind of a recluse. I don't know if you
right.
You know that. Anything more to add about small business making payments, paying out, or receiving funds, or anything? Any tips? Any tricks? I know I didn't really prep you on this, but I feel like you covered a good chunk.
Yeah, not really. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that went on during the COVID that is still kind of carrying back, where you're having to provide that paperwork, but that's a whole different long.
Is that the worst part of your job? Is just the paperwork?
For sure. So with alcohol, I have to pay city, county, state, and federal, and I have to keep separate books for all of those. So that's super fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I do a lot of paperwork.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Do you get audited? People come rolling through? What happens?
I think I complained about that on this show a couple months ago.
I'm sure you did.
It's finally over, but the Department of Revenue, Washington State Department of Revenue, audited me for a 6-year audit. So I have 3 things. I have my bank account, I have my QuickBooks, and then I have my kiosk, my whatever that I charge stuff on. And the difference between what went from the kiosk to the bank, I had like a discrepancy of $1,200. And the audit was within six years, $1,200. In my opinion, that's not that big a difference, right?
Right.
And it took 14 months, 3 different auditors, and 14 months of pulling out old receipts and providing all this stuff. And at the end of the day, they found that I was $1,300 or $1,282, almost $1,300 off. I'm like, that was what I was off right at the initial start.
Right.
And then I had to pay a percentage of that, and I think I paid them like $500. I'm like, it took you 14 months, 3 different people to pay. I don't understand.
So
how
they probably have to go through their guidelines, but yeah, that's weird. They wouldn't.
Super annoying.
Yeah. So what would you pay right now out of pocket to avoid that 14 months again?
Right at the beginning when you see that difference, and if they have, just pay it right then.
Just don't even. I don't. Here you go. I'm not even fighting.
It's not even worth it.
Not worth it.
Because I mean, it's still only a percent.
You're probably mad and kind of boiling a little bit just because you're like, fine. Guess what? I'm going to fight this thing. You're going to have to waste, but it's also then wasting your time because
it was a lot of time spent.
You got to go
find
everything,
receipts, and you think, oh, I have that online, and you think that that's super easy, but it's still difficult when you have a lot of purchases from the same company.
Yeah,
to find that
each
specific. A lot of fun, and then also I have a lot more knowledge about hiring bands and that sort of thing because you have to. They want all the names of those people that you gave money to, but it's. Did you take any of their information?
No, you were just like the band was to be announced
or comedian. Yeah. So Mike Jack, that's not his name.
That's not his real name.
It's Mike James, but he goes by Mike. It's like it's such a cluster. But I have a lot more experience with that now.
Did you remember being in high school and having that big report due, and then you get done with that big report and you're just like, oh, it's turned
Finally.
in. Did you just, when it was all said and done, did you do a victory shot, or did you go? Did you have like a?
No, I sent a real nice email to the original person that started the whole thing. It said, "Why didn't you just charge me right then? Why did we go through all this?"
Right.
Like, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, just wanted to just kind of get there. Thanks for listening, everyone. We're going to do shout-outs real quick. Sean, do you have your shout-outs that you're looking to do? I'm going to pull mine up as well.
Well, like I said, I wanted to shout out Chris for the passing of his father.
Yeah.
But then I also wanted to shout out Jolene from Upper Left Accounting. It's a Enumclaw accounting firm.
Nice.
She has volunteered to run the books for the small downtown business owners collective, which is the group that is collecting the money to purchase new fire tables and the ones that pay for the bands on the stage on Cole Street.
Nice.
That's a collective of not just downtown businesses, but businesses in Enumclaw. And so it's, a lot of moving pieces. So it's really great that she stepped up without any charge and is going to volunteer her time. Very appreciative to that.
Way cool. That's way cool. I'm going to shout out the patrons. Kellen Hall, Holly Graff, Eric Madrid, Adam Kenny Art, Seth Loop, Desiree, or Desi B, Cassie Spencer, Amanda Keating, Shekinah Sarver, Jared Skelly, Homer Robertson, Veronica Lara, Ben Illman, Jamie Roberts, Jamie Kenny, Apollo Doodle, Jackson Zoidhook, Sasha Carolyn, Russell Brandon, Thomas Savageau. You know what? I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to do this. These are the people I've had a beer with at Cole Street that are patrons. Okay? Kellen Hall, check.
Mm-hmm.
Holly Graff, check.
Mm-hmm.
Edred, check. My brother Adam, check. Seth Loop, check. Desi B, check. Cassie Spencer came to a live that we did. She had a beer. So essentially, I had a beer too. So I didn't have a beer with her, but I did have a beer. Amanda Keating for her 30th and other Full Body Fridays, check. Shekinah Sarver, check, obviously. Jared Skelly, check. With Craig and Corey Bentley, we had a few of those. Homer Robertson, haven't had a beer with you yet.
Uh-oh.
So we need to schedule something. I know that when you came out and recorded, I want to say maybe we went downtown. Maybe I didn't have a beer with you, or maybe we didn't have a chance
well, clearly you don't remember.
I don't remember it, so I need to do one that we remember, Homer. So come on out. Veronica Lara, absolutely check. Ben Illman, we haven't had a beer. We've shot hoops together. We've done other things. We haven't had a beer at Cole Street together, I don't think. So I need to remember that. Please come to that. Jamie Roberts, check. My wife, check. Apollo Doodle, never. Never had a beer with you, Apollo. Jackson Seiduk, never. Never had a beer with you as well. Sasha Carolyn, not here. Not at Cole Street. Did have one at Edison City Ale House. Russell Brandon, would love to have one. I can get you your friggin' sweatshirt too, your hoodie. And then Thomas Savageau, yes, have had a few with him as well. So those are my shout outs. Thank you guys for supporting local. Remember, support local with cash. That helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then thank you for Sean for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a great week, everyone.
All right. Cheers.
Making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to Two Guys BrewHaha, Cole Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode?